it's Amanda, and I thought I would do a fun little video of my top 10 bottled inks of 2020. These are acquired by me during this year. They might be older, they might not be new releases, although actually looking at many of these, I think a lot of these are new releases of this year, but they're inks that I have acquired this year that I just really loved. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a little swab with like a cotton swab, and then write the name with my dip pen, and that way you get to see some of the writing. And then I'm also going to show you my coloring card that I've made of this ink, so you can kind of see where I'm coming from. So I have like listed these all out. I kind of went through just the ones that like have stuck in my mind, or that I keep like throwing in pens, or that I just really loved for whatever reason. And yeah, these are just going to be my top 10 favorites of this year, just because I thought that would be fun to do. Now, I know I've had people... Sorry, my shoulder was itchy. I've had people who have requested to find out like what my favorite ink is, or what my top favorite inks are. I'd kind of like to go through and like pick like, this is my favorite red ink, this is my favorite purple ink, this is my favorite orange ink. I feel like I've talked about some of those things, but I've never put them in a video. That's not what this is going to be. This is just going to be my favorite inks that I could not get enough of this year. So first up, I have listed these all out, and I actually have them set. I have the bottles, because I'm doing the bottles of ink. I have the bottles set aside in the order I want to talk about them in, so I can go ahead and do that. So some of these, it was really hard to place them. I did only want to stick to 10. I have a couple honorable mentions that I'm going to literally just mention. I'm not going to show you in a swab or anything, but because I'm kind of running low on space with just 10 bottles up here. But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to kind of do this now that we're at the end of the year. It's like time to do like 2020 countdowns and all that kind of junk. I just thought that'd be fun for me to do. I don't know, I was sitting around not playing Bloodborne last night, and I was like, what can I do for YouTube? Like, that might be fun. So yeah, so this is what I came up with. I actually also want to do a sample version, because I have samples that I may not have gotten bottles of, but like really love and maybe want to get bottles of, or just like have fond memories of throughout the year. So we're going to do one of those too as soon as I can gather them all. Hopefully I still have samples, the ones that I want. And also I think I'll probably do like a top 10 pens of this year. Maybe not my top 10 pens overall, although a lot of these probably would be on that list. Just like top 10 pens that I've acquired this year. If I have 10 that I can think of, top whatever amount, but no more than 10. So anyway, so that's kind of what I want. That's kind of what we're going to have coming up in the next week or so. Yeah, but I just really wanted to do this one right now, so that's what we're going to do. So starting with number 10, again, it was really hard to like place most of these in an order, because I love so many of them, and I really like hemmed and hawed and like scratched things off and put arrows, and like it was a lot for me to like actually like put these in some sort of order, because I love all of these like so much. But yeah, so we're gonna start with number 10, and number 10 is Gourmet Pens, or Ackerman Gourmet Pens Pink. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know that I acquired this one. I think I did acquire this one this year, because my reminder of that was that I was talking to Count Chocula over at Creepy Nibs about it, and I feel like we did that at the same time. So that means that I would have gotten it this year, because, yeah, anyway. So these are the Ackerman bottles. I think they're very pretty. They're so, like, they're interesting, and I like the way that they, like, reservoir off the ink and stuff like that. So that's not why I picked it. I just love this color. This is probably my favorite, like, standard, like, pink. Yeah. We're just going to go ahead and do like a little swabby swab. And I'm going to zoom in over here so you can kind of see it. I didn't tell you what this notebook was, but this is a Galen Leather Everyday notebook. This is the A5 size. And then I'm going to go ahead and also write the name. Just because that way you can kind of see it in the writing. I'm using a dip pen because some of these inks I don't currently have in pens because I'm trying to clean my pens out so I can start 2021 fresh. Oh, Pearl behind me. She might decide to join us. This is Ackerman. Gourmet Pens Pink. And I got this, the reason I purchased this actually is I have an Ackerman pink, and I wasn't sure how this compared to it, and you couldn't find samples of it anywhere, so I just never bit the bullet and decided to get it, because everything that I saw of it looked like it was similar to the other pink that I have, but then we got it in an ink flight, and then I was like, oh my god, I love this ink, so yeah, so oops, let me just go ahead and zoom back out. Okay, Pearl, right now, I love you, and I'm sure people want to see you, but, okay, you can be up here now. Okay, hi, Pearl. Hi there. Hello. Can we show people your pretty face? Oh, I can't flip the camera around. Can we show people your pretty face? No? You're just gonna sit up here, shedding cat hair everywhere? That's cool. Alright, okay, you can't drink that ink water, though. I need you to, okay, okay. Here. Oh my gosh, you're a little purr monster. You're so cuddly today. But I need you to get down. Can you get down? Can you get down, please? No, not over there. You can't drink the ink water. I know you would like to drink the ink water, Pearl, but you cannot. You cannot. No. No, I know. I'm a mean mommy. Won't let you drink the ink water. Do you want me to move this? Here, I'll move this. Here, go sit in the kitty tree. Go sit in the kitty tree. Or don't. Okay, yeah, go sit up there. So that's Pearl. Yeah, so this is Gourmet Pens Pink. It is my favorite pink. I love it so much. So that is number... Pearl. No, Pearl. Go sit in the kitty tree. And I should have written number 10. I'm going to write it in a pen that is not number 10. This is my Ferris Wheel Press brush pen. And I have a double raspberry in there still from when I unboxed the pen. Okay, Pearl. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back in again so we can look at our next ink. So that is number 10. Our next ink is an ink that I actually got in a sample form, but I loved it so much, and yeah, I ended up actually getting the bottle. Oops. Sorry, this is like all crooked now. I ended up getting a bottle as a birthday present from my dear friend. And so, yeah, so the next ink, number 9, is Ackerman Greahole. I looked it up and now I can't remember how to say it, but it's this really pretty gray. And I'm going to zoom back in so we can do our ink swab. It's really pretty gray. I would say it's probably my favorite gray that I have in my collection. Like, I just loved it. I used it during 30 inks. I bought like the sample because this is when I bought the sample when Greahole Pens was the only company in the United States that was carrying the ink. It's just a really pretty gray. It's not, yeah, it's just a really pretty gray. It's not like a green gray. It might be, I don't know, it just seems like a really nice gray. I think this is part of their Essentials line. Oops. Did I write it right? It's just a really pretty medium gray. And I just love it. Oh, I love it. I love it next to Gourmet Pens Pink. Let's zoom. Oops. So you can see them together. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. And I don't even know that I showed you the bottle, but this is what the bottle looks like. Yeah, so this was a beautiful gift for my birthday from my dear friend. And I'm gonna move this over because I'm gonna run out of space if I keep moving back. So that is number 9. And then number 8 is Vinta Inks Harlequin Bonneville 1920. This is a purple ink that has like super green sheen. It's really pretty, and I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I am getting some crusties on here, but it's this really pretty purple and just like some hella green sheen. And so hopefully that we see some of that in this swatch right here. It's a really, really, really dark purple, and I love it a whole lot. Actually, my bottle's kind of getting low. I have sampled it out, but also like used it a bunch. So this is number 8. Oops. And you can already see the sheen. Like, that's developing right there. Like, it's insane. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. But I've put this in, like, I've had it in many pens, and I haven't had any problems with it. In fact, I had it in my Pen BBS 355 The Snow pen, and it didn't stain it at all. There's, like, one little section that is a little purple, and I think I just need to clean it out a little better. But, yeah. So next up, we have ink number 7, and I have to say that I'm actually surprised by this one. This is, I'm not surprised by the brand, but I'm surprised by the ink color. Number 7 is Sailor 50 States, Texas. I love this ink. I thought I was going to love California or Colorado, like, if I had to guess just based on colors alone, which ink of the Sailor 50 States was my favorite up until now, I would have said one of those. But this Sailor Texas, let me zoom back out again. The Sailor Texas, just the shading and the sheen, if you can get it, it's a really pretty brown. I think if I had to pick a favorite brown, like this might be it. As much as I love Pilot Rojizuku Yamaguri, like this is the one that I'm in love with now. So that's it. So that's where we are with that. So let's go ahead and do our swab. And here's the bottle. They come in these little bottles. This is the permanent ink in my, I should have gotten that so I could write the name in, my custom A23 Amber. This ink is permanently in that pen. I just love it. It matches the pen really nicely. I hate cleaning that pen out to switch inks, but yeah, just look, it's just so, it's supposed to be, I have the boxes like all on the floor, but the brown is supposed to be reminiscent of like leatherwork in Texas, and stuff like that, like cowboy boots and the like. I'm kind of doing this backwards, but that's okay. 7. Sailor 50 States, Texas, and I will zoom back in again. Clean off my dip pen first. It's just warm and rich and beautiful, and I love it. And I like, it's dark in here, and if you get it dark, you can like get, I'm gonna like load it up a little bit extra. You get a little bit of that shading on it. I don't know if it'll do it here, but But yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I need to find my cards because somebody had asked how this compares to SPRE Brown, and I have like a whole slew of like orange and brown coloring cards that are just nowhere to be found because I gathered them all up to do that and put them away somewhere, and now I can't find them. So yeah, so Sailor 50 States Texas is my number 7 ink of the year. So next up is probably the one that is for sure definitely was not released this year. I think this one was released last year, and maybe Gourmet Pens was released last year. But I think the rest of these, maybe Vinta, I'm not sure about the Vinta inks. But I think the rest of these have all been released this year. Except for this last one. Or this is the last one that's like old, I think. This is a nondescript bottle. Because the ink that I like comes in these pouches. This is not the pouch of the ink. Andronopal, which is actually one of my favorite inks, but if you watched my 30 inks in September when I did bottle inks, you know that I fell in love with this one, and this is Califolio Olivos, and it's a really beautiful olive green. I can't get enough of it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm gonna zoom back in again. It looks a little light right here. It does write darker, but it also has like excellent shading. Maybe I'll just do a little extra layer here, like I did on Texas, just for funsies. And this is number 6. Oops, you didn't even see that, sorry. Yeah, I fell in love with this ink. It was towards, I think it was it even towards the end? Maybe it was just in the middle. I don't remember now, actually. In the middle of my 30, I think it was in the middle of my 30 inks. I think it was around like 13, 14, something like that. Yeah, wow, I love this ink. I put it in my Pelican, and it was just beautiful. And yes. So there you go. So these are the first 5 inks, and then it really bothers me that I did not draw a circle around that 9, so I'm going to do that real fast. That's not usually a thing that bothers me, but today is the day that it does. There. I don't even usually draw circles around my numbers, but apparently that's what I'm doing today. Okay. Top 5. Now this is going to be interesting because I'm left-handed, and I'm going to try not to like get this. I have to try to be able to I have to be able to write, but also where you can see it. Okay. Oh no, I smudged it. Okay. Sorry, ink. Okay. Okay, sorry, we're gonna be at like kind of a weird angle now. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Okay, so my number 5 ink is going to be, honestly, I've picked one because it's one that I have like used a whole lot. Actually, I think this is the newer bottle, not the one that I've used a lot. But yeah, I actually had 2 bottles set aside, sent one to a friend, and then ordered another one to make sure I have a backup because I use this ink so much. And that's Sailor Ink Studio 723. I love this ink. You could actually probably, I could probably put any of the Sailor Ink Studios on this list because I love them all. This is like it's kind of like a blackish, purplish, bluish. It reads black most of the time, but has some really good shading. And when I was doing my bottle, I think it must have been the bottled inks. Yes, it was the bottled inks. In September, I had some of my friends pick a bottle of ink, and this ink was chosen by pen friend Melissa. on the day that I asked her to pick ink for, and I had to refill my pen 3 times. Now it does that like cool, I'm gonna double up a little bit. It does that cool like dual shady thing that the Sailor Ink Studio inks do. It doesn't usually look like that. Usually look that light. It looks dark like that usually when I'm writing. Oops. This is number 5. When I purchased this ink, I purchased it because I was looking around for Bung Box Ink of the Witch, or Ink of Witch. I've seen it both ways. But I was looking for that, and on the Drumgoal site, this is the one. You'll see this doing really interesting. It's doing like, it's like 123. It's like a really dark version of Sailor 123 with the purple and the green and the all that stuff. This was advertised as being one that was real close to that ink, so I got it thinking that, oh my gosh, this is it, I'm gonna love it. And I do love it, although I don't think it's not as purpley as Ink of Witches. So I actually like 752 as a replacement or a dupe for Bung Box Ink of Witch. But let's go ahead and zoom in so you can see it a little better. So there's our swatch, and oh, I never showed you the card for Califolio Olivos. So here's that beautiful olive green. And then also here's Ink of Witch, which kind of looks like, sort of bluey, it's sort of green, sort of purpley. It's got a lot going on in it, and I think it's really interesting. When I write with it in a pen, it mostly reads black, but it's just, I don't know, it's black, but like interesting. Not that black can't be interesting, but like, you know, it's special. Black ink is kind of like, you know, can be boring and like professional and all that stuff, but this is special. Okay. Next up is an ink that I fell in love with. I originally received a sample in June for Pen Friend Appreciation Month from Pen Friend Melissa, the chooser of this ink for my last 30 inks, or my September 30 inks. And she sent me a few samples of Van Diemen's inks, and I just fell head over heels in love with this one. This is Black Tongue Spider Orchid, and it's beautiful. In the card, it looks sort of flat, although this card looks, this is the one that I did for the bottle of ink, and this card looks a little more interesting. It's got a lot of really cool shading, but sometimes the card looks pretty flat, and yeah, I suggest if you try this one and are like, and make a card like this and aren't a fan of it on the card, put it in a pen before you make your final decision, because it's beautiful. And I've sampled this out a little bit, but I've also used a ton of it. And actually, I'm gonna kind of do that. So it's really pretty. So it also leaked a little bit out. So my bottle's getting sort of low, and I might have to get another one. But yeah, hopefully you can see this. So that's number 4. I think, is this the Wilderness series? Yes. Oops. I usually have this in my Franklin Christoph, let go of magnet. I usually have this in my Franklin Christoph model, I can't remember if it's the 03 or the 02 or 31. I think it's a 31, my purple Franklin Christoph. That's the ink that I used this ink in during 30 days in Pen Friend during Pen Friend Appreciation Month, and that is the ink, that is the pen that it has stayed in. So yeah, I just love it. Like, despite this just being my color, like, it's just, I like writing with the ink a whole lot. I think it looks really nice, especially on Tomoe River paper. Okay, cool. So moving along to the top 3. Okay, this is like really hard to do. Maybe I need to zoom back out a little bit. Sorry for the weird shadow. Oh, that's just my hand. Okay. Yeah, so top 3. Okay, so the top 3 are actually, in terms of like color families, actually sort of like boring and businessy, but too bad. They're my top 3 inks of this year. This one is actually a very recent acquisition. It is Colorverse Project Series 04, 004 Dirty Red. I fell in love with this. I bought samples of what I thought was the whole project collection just to try it out. Turns out I missed a couple, and we've been over this. We got this in the ink flight, but this red is the best thing that's ever happened to me as far as red is concerned. So yeah. So that made it to the top 3. I tried to move it down and move others in its spot, and I just couldn't. I loved it so much that I bought a bottle, and yeah, I talked about it a whole lot around my birthday, and was just like, well, I don't want, like, I've talked about it, and I don't want somebody to be like, oh, good, I got it for you. And so I waited until after my birthday to buy it, because I didn't want to ruin like anybody's birthday gift to me, because I can do that sometimes. So I waited. I was actually really patient about it, but I talked about it so much that I was like, oh my gosh, if I buy it, somebody else is going to have bought it for me. And it's not so great in the swatch, but it has like excellent shading. Do I have it? Oh, I don't have the pen. The pen's cleaned out. It was in my red Twizzy, and actually that's probably where it will live, but it needed a bath, because I'm really trying to, like, let's see, Colorverse. It's just like a dark red, and it is a little pinky. It looks, I love it so much. In a pen, I've had it in a medium Twizzy nib. In a pen, it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It has really great shading. I love the dark bits. I love the light bits. I just love everything about this. Like, this is a red that makes people who don't like red want a red ink. And I know that because I've had people tell me that in the comments. Plus the rose on here is just so pretty. I love the artwork. Okay. Alright, probably these next 2 are going to be zero surprise to any of you if you've been here for a little while. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I talk about them a lot, and I actually struggled with which order to put them in, but it was actually really easy to do. So, Twizzy Black is probably my favorite black. That is going to be number 2. It's inky and beautiful, and I love it. I use this ink to test out pens. Like, I put it in my my Pilot Kakuno, the one that has an extra fine in. It's a really viscous, inky color. And is it the blackest black I've ever owned? Maybe not, but I just love how it comes out of a pen. I love how it looks on a page. I love it. If I could love a black ink, this is the one that I would love. And I have been swayed by a lot of black inks recently. But this is the one that this is the one I compare every black ink to now. I just love it. I love everything about it. It's just, yeah, it's my favorite black. This is what it looks like on the coloring card. It can have, like, when you write with it or put it on paper, it does have some sheen to it. My card didn't really pick it up, but I don't know, maybe we'll get it on here. Alright, and last but most certainly not least, we have number 1. My top ink of 2020 is going to be Twizzy Midnight Blue. I love this ink so much. I love this ink so much. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful, but when this ink came out, I like you couldn't find it everywhere. I don't even know if you can find it everywhere now. But I really wanted, when Twizzy came out with their inks, they're like a basic, like red, blue, black. They came out with a bajillion blues. They had a bajillion. There were like 2. Oh, I got way too much on here. There were 2, and I didn't really care for any of them, to be honest. Twizzy. Blue. I wanted an ink that was like, the blues that they had were just kind of not very interesting. They were kind of, I don't know, none of them were as great as the black was. Until Twizzy Midnight Blue had come out, probably black was going to be my top one. But when this came out, like, all I wanted after testing the samples is I wanted a blue that was like Twizzy Black but blue. The Twizzy Sapphire Blue and Twizzy Blue Black. Although Twizzy Blue Black is an iron gall, I found out from somebody in the comments, not when I was talking about it. I did a video comparing the inks. Whether it's a good video or not, I don't know, but it was one that I wanted to do, and it didn't actually hash out the way I wanted it to. Yeah, it was a good, it's a video I'm kind of proud of, even though it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But anyway, all I wanted in this world was a blue that reminded me of Twizzy Black. The Twizzy Sapphire Blue and Twizzy Blue Black were kind of pale. They weren't very interesting in my personal opinion. And yeah, so then Twizzy came out with a midnight blue, but then you couldn't find it. Like, at any of the places that I usually buy ink, I couldn't find it. Like, I was waiting for Van Ness to get it so I could get a sample from them. Like, Goulet didn't even have it. Like, nobody that I typically buy inks from on a regular basis had it. And I was really sad about that because I wanted to try a sample first. I didn't want to get a bottle of it. I just wanted to try a sample, see if it was what I wanted, and then buy a bottle of it. And then I ended up having enough, like, ink points at Pen Chalet, and Pen Chalet had the ink in stock, so I used my ink drop points to get this bottle. So actually I didn't buy this bottle, but it is one that I acquired. I mean, I sort of bought it with points, not with, actual money at that time. It was money that I spent beforehand. But yeah, so I got it and I tried it and it was everything that I wanted. So I'm extremely pleased with this purchase or bonus gift or whatever. Like, I'm just so happy that this is exactly what I wanted. So my favorite blue for the longest time was Robert Oster Soda Pop Blue, and that is still one of my favorites. It's my favorite. I call it turquoisey blue, but this is my favorite, like, dark blue. It's inky, it's viscous, it's exactly Twizzy Black but blue. That's all I wanted in a world of ink, is Twizzy Black but blue. So here are my top 10 inks for 2020. Like, here's my coloring card for that. Yeah, so cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the coloring cards out. It's a lot of darker colors. Yeah, it's it's a lot of the same colors. There's like blues and blacks and things like that. And this is technically purple, but it looks green. But yeah, so these are my top 10 inks for 2020 as far as my personal bottles collection is concerned. So let's go ahead and put these out. I wasn't trying to worry about whether or not they like went together well or whatever. I just wanted to show off my favorites. So here we go. Oh, this card is kind of... So there we go. My personal top 10 favorite inks of 2020. So I also did have a couple of honorable mentions. I'm not going to pull the ink bottles out, but I did want to mention Birmingham Pens Slag Gray, Homestead Steelwork Slag Gray. This is the like original or old formula. I love this ink so much. I love this ink so much enough to be mad that the new version isn't this. I won't keep talking about that, but this is an honorable mention because I love this so much. I have like maybe third to a half of a bottle left, and I will be using it, but also hoarding it. I just love this ink. And then I have 3 cards for this one ink, but another ink that I really especially loved this year was Kiwi Ink's Nebula Space Kitty. We got this sample in an ink flight, and I immediately, like while the video was uploading, went and bought a bottle. And then 2 friends, because they knew that I loved it so much and said that I wanted 12 bottles, made sure that I was well on my way to 12 bottles. So thank you to Ms. Turtle and to Casey for helping me add to my collection of Nebula Space Kitty. And I love how these cards like all look different. But yeah, I love that ink, and then I love this ink as well. So thank you so much. These are the honorable mentions for this year. I really kind of wanted to fit them in, but I really loved the ones that I put on my list. Like, just, there wasn't anything to get rid of. So, yeah, but I didn't want to leave them out completely. So we're just going to honorable mention these because they were big inks of my inky year. So thank you again. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Love you. Bye.